Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another action-packed edition of Encyclopedia Bombastica here on GiantBomb.com. Once again, I'm Alex Navarro. And I don't know if you know this or not, but this weekend on the pay-per-view television, I believe it's the 27th annual WWE Royal Rumble, formerly the WWF Royal Rumble. Now, if you're a wrestling fan, this is one of the more exciting shows of the year. Very specifically because it is a show that features a lot of dudes fighting in a heavily chaotic situation that mostly just boils down to dudes flailing arms and just trying to throw each other over the top rope. That might not sound like the most exciting wrestling thing, but let me tell you, it is a thrilling event all around. I have been watching the Royal Rumble on and off pretty much since I was, a kid. And in fact, one of the first wrestling games I ever owned, not the first was WWF WrestleMania for the NES, and that was garbage. But one of the first I ever owned was WWF Royal Rumble for the Super Nintendo system, which also came out on the Sega Genesis. We're going to check that game out today. We're going to check out both versions. We're going to start with the version that I had, which was the Super Nintendo iteration. It featured 12 of the superstars of the day, which was, a decent number for a game of that era. And it was the first game that I can recall, I'm pretty sure it's the first one, to feature more than, like, a couple of dudes in the ring. I think 4 was the maximum before, but this features 6. 6 dudes! How crazy is that, right? 6 dudes in a ring. It's nuts. Before we get into the actual Royal Rumble action, seeing what the whole 6-man deal is about, I'm just gonna jump into a one-on-one match here. As you can see, the options are fairly limited. Basically, you get your one-on-one match, you get a brawl, which is like a no-rules, knock-a-dude-out match, and then you got your various tag team matches and what have you. Turn the difficulty up just ever so slightly, because it's not that hard to beat. And hey, what the hell, we'll let the computer choose my opponent. So here is the roster for WWF Royal Rumble, including, rest in peace, Macho Man Randy Savage, one of the all-time greats. Mr. Perfect, also dead, rest in peace. Let's see who else. Undertaker's still alive, ironically. So he's still around and shows up in the WWE every once in a great while. Bret Hart, who is alive, old and a little bit depressing whenever he talks, but still alive, so there's that. Tatanka, who is definitely still alive and I think still does some indie wrestling. One of the great Native American... all Native American characters in wrestling are basically kind of crude stereotypes. He was at least a popular one, I'll give him that. Crush, who is definitely dead, otherwise known as Bryan Adams, former member of NWO and Chronic and a variety of other things that no one really cared that much about. This was the height of his Kona Crush phase, when he was a good guy, and just his whole thing was he was from Hawaii. Ric Flair, one of the all-time greats, still with us. Shawn Michaels, still around. This is back when he was still doing a back suplex, apparently, as his finisher, before he got the sweet chin music. Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, man with some demons, but has been doing better as of late. This is the gimmick that made him famous. Yokozuna, who is dead, not surprisingly, considering his enormous weight throughout his career. 505 pounds, in this case. I don't know if that's real or not, but, sometimes that stuff is exaggerated. Lex Luger as the Narcissist, which was not a very long-lived gimmick, because he started out with this in the WWF, and then he went on to be kind of a bland Hulk Hogan substitute, all-American type. $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, from Seasonal Resonances. Perfect! And that's it. So now we gotta pick, now we actually have to pick one of these dudes. I'm gonna go with Mr. Perfect. I love Mr. Perfect. He rules. And I'm gonna go up against Razor Ramon, so here we go. Oh, that's a great picture of Kurt Hennig. That's great. As wrestling games of this time were, the mechanics of this are fairly simple. There is a grapple button and a couple of different attack buttons, which I'm pressing right now, as you can see. He's pressing them too. You got a kick, you got a punch, and then each attack button does a different thing depending on where you're kind of standing. And then once you get into a grapple, you press some different buttons, and those do different moves as well. Like, I'm pressing what would be the Super Nintendo R button here, and I do a backbreaker. And then that was the pin button, apparently. And then, you know, you can kind of run off the ropes, do some stuff. You can throw the guy, or you can jump off the top rope if you want to. And that did not go. That was an ill-advised move. I'll be honest. Stop hitting me. Ah, body slam. See, there we go. And, you know, there's... everyone has their finishers. The trick with this one was you would have to press... Basically, you'd have to grapple them once their energy was low, and you would have to do it at a certain point. See, and that was the fun thing, was that if you pressed the suplex button too close to the ropes, it would just be like, nope. There's a couple of other moves you can do. There's like a chokehold and like an eye gouge, but you can't do those while the ref is involved, so any brawl match you can do that with, but anything else, not so much. I can hit him with that chair, though. That was pretty fun. I don't know why I didn't get disqualified for that, but I didn't, so that's pretty great. And... oh, perfect plex! Apparently you can't win that way, though. He doesn't just pin him, which is dumb. Because I'm going to win anyway, but... yay! Wrestling matches! Yeah, this game wasn't terribly complex. If you turn the AI all the way up, it definitely got harder, or the difficulty, but it... you know, once you kind of got the feel for how the mechanics worked, playing the AI was really no fun. This was more of a multiplayer game. This was a one you played with your friends. Of which I am currently lacking, so unfortunately I have no choice but to just play this by myself. It's a bummer. Alright, so we're going to jump into a Royal Rumble here. Just kind of the main attraction. I'll turn it up a little bit more. Who should we have for our Royal Rumble? Tatanka, nah. Crush, nah. Michaels and Razor Ramon. I mean, you're going to see all these guys because they all eventually show up, so... Ted DiBiase. Who doesn't love Ted DiBiase? I don't think he ever won a Royal Rumble. Hacksaw Jim Duggan has won a Royal Rumble, but Ted DiBiase never did. That was a shame. So, this interpretation of the Royal Rumble obviously only features 12 wrestlers because there are only 12 in the game. And there's not really a timer. It just kind of just starts throwing dudes in there as quickly as possible. So now there's 3, and then in a minute there will be 4. Yep, there's The Undertaker. And, you know, you just kind of want to wear dudes down enough to get them to where you can just kind of toss them over the top. That's really all there is to it. I mean, there's the chokehold I'm doing. Then I just eye gouged Yokozuna, so that's great. It's worth noting that everyone has the same moves other than the finishers, but I mean, that was sort of par for the course in a lot of these games, you know, kind of early on. Again, a fun game when I was a kid. I think this game came out when I was like 12, in 93. And you know, it's simple now. There's not a lot to it. In fact, I think even in a multiplayer environment, this would be pretty dull nowadays, but, you know, it had its time. There was a time when this was impressive. The fact that you could have, you know, 6 dudes in the ring at once was kind of mind-boggling, because, you know, that the technology simply did not exist previously. Oops. Yeah, I keep going for that suplex, which is not the best idea. Choking Ric Flair. Ugh. Yeah, I asked for that one. Oops. Throw him off the ropes. Yeah, you know, you screw that up for me. Thanks. And there goes Crush. I just eliminated Crush. Honestly, who the hell likes Crush? It's really just a lot of button mashing. You see the grapple meter at the top there. Just kind of really all you have to do is you know, hammer on one of the buttons repeatedly until someone goes... In this case, I had to... You know, if you hammer on the Irish whip button, that dude will go out of the ring as long as you're standing near the ropes. I lost hours to this game playing with friends. I was definitely among the resident champions of most eliminations in this game. I would throw, like, I don't know, maybe it's just because other friends didn't own the game, so they didn't get to practice at it, but people kind of hated playing against me because I would just always throw them out really quickly. I know that sounds like I'm bragging, but honestly it's a little sad because of the amount of time I actually spent playing this kind of, in retrospect, crappy wrestling game and getting good at it. So, you know. Ugh. Just keep choking Ric Flair. Just forever choking and eye-gouging Ric Flair. Until I throw him out. Ugh. Yeah, Bret Hart has not been worn down enough. Oh, are we already out of dudes? We're down to 5? Yeah, short Royal Rumble. You know, Royal Rumble, traditionally, 30 guys. There are not 30 dudes in this game. I'm not even sure there were actually 30 guys in the WWE that mattered at all at this stage. Like, 93, that was... Oh, man, you're getting into, like... Was that, like, Ludwig Borga territory? Is that, like, that was, like, what, WrestleMania 8 or 9? Sid Vicious probably would have been in the WWE at that point. God, I can't even remember. Yeah, those were not great times. I think this is right around the time Doink the Clown first appeared. Sounds about right. I like just choking dudes. That's fun. Look, I just want to throw you, okay? That's all I'm trying to do here. There we go. And there goes Tatanka. And there goes Shawn Michaels. And there goes Bret Hart. Okay, so, yeah. Not that hard of a game, really. Well, that was fun. Other than that, not a whole lot to this game. I mean, you can do tag team stuff, which is not overly fun. The triple tag team thing was kind of interesting. Like, let's fire that up real quick before we switch over to the Genesis version, just to kind of take a look at that one. One player, one fall, and there. Sure. Who shall we have? Let's pick the worst guys in this game. There we go. Sorry, I never really liked Tatanka. Not my favorite. Who else sucks? Yeah, Lex Luger pretty much sucks. So, here we go. That is an interesting trio. Alright. Ugh, come on. I'm just gonna kick you over and over again. I guess that was a tag button. Cool. Tatanka wasn't that bad, I guess. I don't know. I was just never really a fan. He had some moves. I'll give him that. Okay, so yeah, if by pressing the select button, I can select which partner I want to tag in, which is amusing. Because apparently they can't show They can show 6 dudes in the ring, they just can't show them all standing on the apron because of the way the ring graphics work, I guess. You can't have people standing up here, which is sort of stupid, but what are you gonna do? Yeah. Narcissist! Not my favorite Lex Luger thing, though really I don't have a favorite Lex Luger thing, I guess. Does anyone really have a favorite Lex Luger bit? I feel like he was sort of the odd man out in everything. And Shawn Michaels is back in. Atomic drop. I don't know why I chose to do this match. It's not that interesting. Yeah, come on out here. It's cool. That was fun. Just gotta trick him. You just gotta trick him into coming out there, and then you just whack him. Good grunting noises. You know, 16-bit grunting. See if I can... Nope. Still can't get that top rope stuff down. Games like this just kind of make me remember, you know, how simple it used to be and how amazing the simplest things were. You know, I think I talked a little bit when I was when I did one of these for WCW versus NWO Revenge that you know, just the idea of having like entrances in a game was like this crazy novelty once. You know, and in this case, the idea of having 6 guys in the ring at the same time was super crazy. And then, you know, it wasn't anymore, but that's okay. That's okay, because, you know what? We have better wrestling games now. As much as we might, you know, deride the THQ brand of video game, they had their place. They had their time. Ugh, I should have known that was going to happen. Right. Thanks to Tonka for cheating on my behalf. I appreciate that. Let's bring back Crush. Who doesn't love Crush? Everyone. Nobody loves Crush. If you are all interested in reading about wrestling, there's a book out now by Grantland's David Shoemaker called The Squared Circle that is sort of an offshoot of a column he used to do for Gawker called The Dead Wrestler of the Week. And, you know, it in some ways tries to be something of a history of the business, but a lot of it is really just essays about these different wrestlers that have, you know, died tragically over the years, including the likes of Crush. In fact, it's weird because when you think about Crush in the grand scheme of wrestling, he is barely a footnote in a lot of ways, but he showed up in a lot of different places and was part of a lot of different gimmicks, and then, you know, just kind of never really did very much with any of them. So it's sort of weird seeing, like, kind of a semi-lengthy essay on someone like that dude, because he's not, you know, really that memorable, but it's kind of fascinating the way that the Masked Man, as he is known in his wrestling circles, kind of takes that information and does what he does with it. You know, it makes the life of someone as patently dull as Crush seem kind of interesting in the grand scheme of the wrestling landscape. I don't know why he's not coming in to break that up again, but there you go. I won. Yay! Well, that was a satisfying victory, I guess. And on that note, I think we're going to switch over to the Jessen's version here real quick. So, 1 second. And now, we're playing the Genesis version of WWF Royal Rumble, which is a lot like the Super Nintendo version, only it has some different guys in it. Like Hulk Hogan! He's a wrestler. You've probably heard of him. Undertaker, he's in both. Crush. Somehow Crush made it into both versions, which is, you know, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. That's a different guy. That's someone who's actually won a Royal Rumble. Yeah, alright, we'll just stop saying that. We'll go through the roster page here in a second. So yeah, same features. The one thing I neglected to mention is that when you play the one-on-one mode, there's a tournament option you can go through that just basically has you playing everyone, and then you win a title, I guess. Not really that exciting or different. That was a really easy one last time. Let's try turning it up to 8. And let's see what we got. So, Macho Man, same deal. Bret Hart, same deal. Hulk Hogan is in this one, which is different. This version came out after the Super Nintendo one, if I recall correctly. It was done by a different studio for a port. Crush, still there. Jim Duggan. The Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You may also notice that the music sounds a little tinnier in this version. The audio's not as good. It's just kind of, I don't know. I only played the Genesis version like once or twice when I was a kid. I owned a Genesis for like a hot minute. The model Rick Martel. He was always pretty great. But I never had this version of the game. Played it at a couple of friends' houses. That's probably about it. Who else we got? Papa Shango, Jesus. Who would later go on to become, the Godfather, along with several other gimmicks that never quite worked out. Godfather worked. Razor Ramon, we know him. IRS, the great Mike Rotunda in his IRS gimmick. I don't know if anyone else watched the old school Raw recently, where they had a bunch of the dudes backstage just hanging out, the old guys. And there was a bit where Big E Langston was walking through the backstage, and it was just a bunch of really old wrestlers standing around saying their catchphrases to people. Like Nikolai Volkov was singing the Russian national anthem. At some point, $1 Million Man just turns around and just says everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man and just laughs maniacally for no reason. As soon as he walks up to IRS, he's like, don't forget to pay your taxes. Imagine a world where the old wrestlers, I'm gonna play Papa Shango, because why not? Old wrestlers just stand around saying their catchphrases until they die. Remember in Brain Candy, how they had the comatoriums when people get locked in that one memory, their one happy memory, and they would just sort of repeat the same sentence over and over again while looking off in kind of a glazy-eyed stare? That's like the wrestling equivalent of that. Just a bunch of old men standing around saying their catchphrases to no one. Oh yeah, Genesis version doesn't look as good either. Doesn't look or sound as good, which is a bummer. Ugh. I never really liked Papa Shango. I mean, obviously there's the whole, I don't know, mildly racist voodoo connotations to it, but I just thought he was kind of a crappy character. You know, it was kind of like, oh cool, well we already have the Undertaker, but we made him a good guy, so we need another mystical bad guy. Let's give this guy voodoo face paint. What do you think? And in the world of wrestling, that is really all you have to do. Papa Shango did have a couple of memorable fights against people like The Undertaker and The Ultimate Warrior, but not a great character. The model Rick Martel, though, that was by far the best thing Rick Martel ever did. I mean, I know some people love the whole Strike Force deal and some of his early stuff, but nah, man. Model Rick Martel was an underrated villain. You heard it here first. Ugh. Oh, this version of the game is kind of making me unhappy, to be honest with you. Come on. It's Crush. Who cares about Crush? Crush can't beat me. I'm Papa Shango. I got voodoo powers, yo. Yet I wrestle for some reason. If I was a voodoo priest, I think wrestling would be the last thing I got into. I would aim higher. Just saying. Hey, it's Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan! This was... I'm guessing this was around his, like, I'm fighting Yokozuna run right before he went to WCW for the long term. Not really his most memorable period, for sure. Ah, come on! Ugh. This is what I get for turning up the difficulty. Now it's a lot. Now I have to mash the buttons way harder to get them to go and die. That is literally what the difficulty balance boils down to, is how hard do I have to mash these buttons. Ugh. The answer is a lot harder now. Ugh. You're the worst, Crush. You are the worst. And I am just going to keep choking you until you die. Did he just throw at Hulk Hogan? God damn it. Ah, it's IRS. Ah, come on. Everybody is just giving me an impossibly hard time right now because the difficulty is so high. It's the worst. I don't think I've even thrown anyone out yet. Oh no, Razor's Edge! Oh god! Ugh! Somehow I survived that because he went into the ropes. So let that be a lesson, kids. You can get out of wrestling holes just by kind of falling into the ropes. That's how it works. Oh, I'm so tired, and I'm out of health. Shit. I'm just gonna keep choking dudes until I win. Sound strategy, right? Come on, come on. Ah, there's one. Okay. Yay, I feel like I did something in this match, at least. Oh, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan still... We still got Jim Duggan to contend with. Just choking. Just choking forever. Come on, one of you come over here. One of you come over here. Oh, I'm not getting up, am I? Nope. Nope. Ugh. Everything is so hard now. Jim Duggan's gonna give me a hard time in this one, isn't he? Nope! Nope! Ugh. No! Well, that ended poorly. Might as well see who wins. I think that's supposed to be Vince McMahon and Bobby Heenan in the background doing commentary. I don't know who else that guy on the right would be other than Vince McMahon. Gorilla Monsoon? No, he doesn't look anything like Gorilla. I mean, if anything, it kind of looks like John Laurinaitis, but that's not who it is. Ugh. I don't even know if I care who wins this, to be honest with you. Crush is at least making an impressive showing. I'll give him that. Oh, the Kona Crush. Yeah, is basically just the stupid vice grip hold. Someone win this, please. Oh, no, it's just going to go to the ropes again. Yeah, you know, old wrestling games, they don't necessarily hold up super well, if they even held up during their time. I mean, I'm in no way going to say this was a great game when I was playing it growing up, but it was good enough for the time. It was certainly better than a lot of other wrestling games of that era. But you know, would I recommend someone play this now? Maybe as a curiosity. You know, none of these old LJN games really stand the test of time. This or Super WrestleMania or WWF Raw, any of that stuff. But, you know, at the time, it was a fun multiplayer game. It had enough features for a game of its era to be somewhat worth buying. Though maybe not the Genesis version, if I'm being real here. I was not impressed with that version here. SNES all the way. Super Nintendo all the way. God, someone win this match, please. For the love of God. I'm so tired of watching these two guys wrestle. Just finish it, man. That atomic drop is not going to get him outside the ring, man. Come on. Nope. You're still not doing this right. Also, really great at the time, wrestling game AI. Top quality all the way around. See, guys, wrestling games sucked long before THQ ever got their hands on this stuff. Come on, come on. I'm trying to imagine a real Royal Rumble where Crush and Hacksaw Jim Duggan were the last two participants, and I'm imagining it being the most upsetting thing ever. And Hacksaw wins! And on that note, that is WWF Royal Rumble for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System and Sega Genesis. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'll try and play a better wrestling game next time. See you later.